The Final Frontier. These are your adventures as you explore, seeking out new life and civilizations, expanding your borders and exploiting the resources you find, befriending allies, or exterminating the foes that get in your way.
Contact detected entering sector. Configuration unknown. Assessing. Initiating countermeasures.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Star Trek New Worlds. Today's broadcast is being brought to you with the slight disclaimer of a biological hazmat alert. The thing that shall not be named seems to have gotten hold of me. And so this today's episode will be a little shorter, and my voice, as you can hear, is a little rough around the edges. But what are we talking about today? We just to give a little sit rep on where we're at, the campaign is mid-turn in the sense we were in turn 60, and that was supposed to be our live stream last week. We are in the midst of turn at 61. The turn has not yet been completed. So since we didn't get that live stream out yesterday or last week, we'll do the live stream this week for turn 60. We'll highlight all things exciting, including... Good God! That's right. Absolutely. Say it again. All right. So we'll be talking about war, the war that is going on, the conflict that is occurring, and the little things that have happened, at least from the Borak perspective, mid-turn, and what is going on. If you have no idea what Star Trek New Worlds is, and today is your first time looking and seeing it, I apologize for being a little under the weather, not more vibrant and exciting for you, but it is a turn-based game, turn-based strategy game that we play online here with you today on YouTube Live. We play it inspired by the rule set of Federation and Empire as published by the Amarillo Design Bureau, and the magic of the map that you will see here momentarily is through Vassal. So with that said, let's slide on over to the latest and greatest on the economics so you can see where we're at. All right. So here we... excuse me. Here we are. And you can see we have our range of incomes from the low end at 57.5 to the high end of over 100. Very exciting and quite a little bit of variety. I won't read out all the numbers, but basically you can see the Borak and the Gazinti are in the middle of the pack with approximately 67. The Klingons and the Carnarvon light years ahead with their triple-digit or near triple-digit incomes. And, of course, those hovering around 60 are still trying to catch up. So if you take a look at the graph, you can see our progression over time. And look at those Klingons. They just keep accelerating that growth. The Carnarvon's doing something similar. It's very interesting watching this game as factions continue and evolve through the turns. The Klingons are showing a very clear pattern of expansion. Whoa! Oh. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, a coffee has been fired. Normally, I'm much more animated when that occurs. But the blood pressure in my head or whatever it is a little too high. Lost Muskrat has fired a sweet coffee. Now, unfortunately today, because of my situation here, I'm going to be drinking water with lemon infused. You can see that right here. So we'll take a quick sip of that. That's good. It's good stuff. Oh, and it keeps me lubricated. At least my larynx. All right. So where we're at, we're looking at the Klingons' continued incline up. The Carnivons moving their way, trying to track as quickly or as on track as possible. You can see that they're number 2, but their average incline is just a little bit, or rate of increase is a little bit less than the Klingons. You can see the Hydrants are kind of petering out a bit. The Paravians are accelerating, and certainly the Borak and the Kzinti are following a very similar track, going in that general direction. Okay. With all that said, and knowing that my voice is limited, let's race into the map and show you what is going on. Okay, everybody, here we are. Since we didn't talk about fleet cap, let's talk about fleet cap real quick. We're going to go from top to bottom real fast, so see if you can keep along. The Borak have 40 total ships. Interesting increase considering ships from last turn. With now over 100, with 111 total attack factors, 226 fleet cap. The Carnivon with 107. I think that puts them at the highest number of total ships, with a total attack factor of 235, 445 defense. The Federation, sort of in the middle, at 71 with 155 attack, 279 defense. The Hydrants at 56 total ships with 126 attack, 244 defense. The ISC at 38 total ships, 89 attack, 181 defense. The Klingons also breaking the triple digits with 101 ships, 247 attack. Note, they're a little bit higher than the Carnies. 247 attack, 232 defense. Note the difference there between their fleet cap and their defense factors. They still have a number of crippled ships that they are repairing. The Kzinti with 55 total ships. They have 131, 232 defense, 131 attack. The Lyrans with a total of 50 ships have 117, 247. That's a very interesting number because, of course, you compare that to the Borak, and they've got more ships, more total firepower. They're just a bigger, meaner animal. And, of course, those two factions are at war. Where we are, Paravians. Trains are radically increasing their military with now 23 total ships, coming from like single digits, I think it was before 2 turns ago. They now have 74 total attack, 148 defense. The Tholians are last on the list at 70 total ships, 123 attack, 324 defense. And that, ladies and gentlemen, closes us out for fleet cap. All right. So why am I focused in on this little area right here? Well, this is the focal point of our ferocious conflict between the kitty cats and the bats, so to speak. I always call the Borak faction the Bat faction because they look like the Batman logo with their ships. But either way, we've got these ships here and the Lyrans in yellow on the other side. So for those who have not seen or have not been following along, please check in our previous live streams. But what is going on in this little section here? We have right here, we have Home Fleet with a tug and a YFF that have moved up. There was a ship in a tug, a Borak tug. You may have seen the YouTube short about that. There was a Borak tug in this hex, and this fleet came in and popped it and took over this hex. This hex has Home Fleet, which, if we look up here, Lyran Home Fleet is not small. It has a total of 1 heavy dreadnought, 4 cruisers, 5 light cruisers, 8 destroyers, and 1 frigate. But they are being reinforced from the back end here with the CL and DDs coming up. And of course, you've got more ships. Look at this. Total of 4 frigates and 2 light cruisers on their way to reinforce this little spot right here. So what's going on here? Well, the Lyrans and the Borak are having so shall we say, a contested debate about territorial, what's theirs and what's yours, or what's mine and what's yours as far as territory goes. As you can see, there is no neutral zone established here. The Lyrans are making a claim that they want everything basically past the JJ line, which is this column right here. And now it's actually evolved to further right of that. The Borak are making the argument that a straight line up and down is impractical and that we should do something that sort of like middles the difference. And excuse me while I blow my nose, because that's just what's going on. Pardon me. Apologies. All right. And what's going on here? Yeah. So the Borak want to be able to trade and exchange with the Romulans. You can see this Romulan faction right here between First and Home Fleet here. And these two planets, if we take away the ships real quick, are pretty significant in the sense that it's a medium planet, which is arguably the largest planet in Lyran space other than their capital. And that's a 4-income planet versus a major planet that's 5. So the progression is colonies, which are these little half moon things here. It's 1. This little planet here with the dot in the middle is a 2. That's a developing planet. A minor planet, which I can't see off the top of my head one on the screen. But basically remove this little dot, and that makes it a minor planet, which is a 3 income. The developing or the medium planet, excuse me, is 4, and then a major planet is 5, with the exception of your capital, which provides you 10 total EP. So that's where we're at here in this progression. So the Romulus capital is pretty juicy gem to be able to grab hold of. And that's obviously what's going on here. The Lyrans lay claim to this as they explored this area first. Again, the Borak are contesting that because, shall we say, like I say, the JJ line seems impractical. Should we draw something else? And the two factions are not agreeing in any way, shape, or form. The Borak tug that had moved into this hex the turn previous, essentially was the red line that had been crossed. And the Lyrans moved to attack. The Lyrans previously had this YDK right here with a troop transport. And they were attacking the Romulans right here with this big fleet. And so in light of the tug moving in, they decided to move their ships up here with the tug. And I have intelligence report, although I don't have the turn back yet, to say that they are building, as expected, they are starting to build a YBS right here. Okay, so they attacked a tug. Now, tugs are obviously warships. They have 2 attack and 6 defense for the, you can see up here, for the Borak. But 1 ship versus home fleet, it's kind of a one-sided battle. An evolution of this standoff is that I believe it was probably this light cruiser and 2 frigates reached out and attacked this convoy and its YFF escort. So Convoy is a non-combat collection of ships, 03, think Battlestar Galactica, and then of course they had a single frigate escorting them. Small scale combat was used, and as a result, the convoy was unfortunately destroyed, and the frigate got away with its life. So, as you can see from the Borak perspective, we have Lyrans in classic bully fashion, deciding to pick on the small, weak, less defended targets, and choosing to, take out those low-hanging fruits. Let me take a quick sip. And rightly so. Why not? Because they're the low-hanging fruit, and you want to cause damage or, decrease the total fleet count of your opposition any chance that you can. So, one thing that is not probably obvious here is that there had been a Lyran base in GG26, so right underneath this 4th fleet. There was a YBS right here, and when the Lyrans attacked the tug here, there was a contingency written in that the ships would move down, attack the base here, and then scoot back to the YDK. The brain is not sharp today. I apologize. So, anyways, tit for tat in the sense of you blew up my tug, we blew up your base, and then so far this turn, as I have it reported to me, they have destroyed this convoy, and let's see here. Yeah, they destroyed this convoy, and the YFF has retreated. Okay, so that's the tensions that are going on right here. Now, let's take a moment and look at the rest of what's going on with the Lyrans. You can see here they have, obviously, a base. They did they finish this base here? Or, yeah, so they're in the midst of building a base down here, sort of securing their southern border with the Federation. You can see they're continuing to explore. I expect that this guy is going to continue to creep across here as the Lyrans try and push their explored space further and further this way. You can see there's this stretch of ships up at the top. You've got a WSR, probably a tug about to build a base here because their supply is 3, so 1, 2, 3. They'll build a base here to expand further up. So lots of exploration going on here. You can see that on the edge that they have with the Klingons just in the top corner here, they've established a partial neutral zone. There's 6 hexes that they've established to, I'm assuming, prevent any particular contestation between the Klingons and the Lyrans. So that's going on right here. And then, of course, on the west side, there's nothing really much going on. You have a single survey ship doing its thing, and this is the only point of supply. So there's not much else, unless perhaps this convoy is going to build a base sometime soon. So, yeah, that's what's going on in this next... Oh, there's a planet there. Excuse me. There's a planet there. So 1, 2, 3. So you got some hexes they can explore for sure. So that is the Lyran faction. As we scoot over to the Borak, you can see that the Borak has this cloud of cruisers that are doing all their stuff. So as you can see, they're coalescing in this area because of the impending Lyran threat. You have a cloud of cruisers up in the top. And this is sort of being inspired by the Carnivon. The Carnivon had been exploring space using cruisers and prime teams, which make them almost as good, well, maybe a 50-50 shot compared to survey ships. And so doing the best that they can to be able to conduct survey and explore up in this neck of the woods. And so it's been reasonably successful. And of course, with all the cruisers, it allows us to sort of build out our fleet with the best ships that the Borak have, which are their cruisers. As you can see, their frigates down here with a 1-3 suck compared to, let's say, a Lyran is 2-3. I have a 1-3. Even the Carnies have a better frigate. Where's one of your frigates here? I'm sure there's some in the wolf pack here. Let's look at wolf packs. Okay, so you can see their frigates are 2-3s as well right here. So, yeah, everyone's frigates are better than the Boraks, that's for sure. Borak small ships just suck. So that's what's going on in this neck of the woods. And what else we got here? We've got so some raiders have popped up in sort of the Carnivon backyard. I'm curious to see how they're going to deal with that. 4 ships is quite a concentration of them, with a battle cruiser at 5. Looks like a cruiser with 2, and another auxiliary cruiser with 3-2, and then another. I guess one of these cruisers got crippled and is now a 1. But nonetheless, that's quite a collection of ships. So they're actually going to have to spend some time to deal with that, which is interesting because I was not expecting that to occur in that way. So interesting. All right, so we have the Borak. We have the Lyrans. Let's slide over to the ISC real quick, and we'll go across the top. So you can see the ISC here continuing to explore. You can see that there is a captured YFF here, which is moving over to Carnivon space. The Carnivon have captured that, and they've exchanged a captured YFF. The IC have captured, in the sense that they're just swapping ships to be able to conduct reverse engineering on the ships. Gives you a slight tech boost. So they're doing that back and forth 2 ways. You can see if this tug leap seems to be building a base up here on this wormhole. Perhaps this is the wormhole that goes into Federation space. As the player has changed, the policies perhaps have also changed, and so building a little bit more defense on this this access point. And as you can see, the ISC are continuing to explore, but they just have fewer ships to be able to do it with. And at the same time, building out, if we take away their ships, they're building out their base infrastructure along this line to be able to reinforce the uniform line, which looks like that is the sort of the border between them. Perhaps the excuse me. Perhaps the uniform line, which is where this guy is right here. 1 second. All right. Excuse me. Take a quick sip. Okay. Not sure how much longer I got. As we scoot across and we bring back the ships, we got the Carnivons, and they continue to explore using their cruisers and large explorations ships here as survey freighters. Excuse me. Up in the corners here, they continue to bring down a whole bunch of ships into this section. So this is sort of mildly alarming in the sense that that's a lot of ships in this little neck of the woods. And of course, with the Borak currently engaged with a conflict with the Lyrans, it's like, what's going on here? A generous, sort of an optimistic perspective would be that they are engaging in a more concentrated exploration effort to try and tamp down how much territory the Borak can get. Excuse me, which is totally appropriate. But again, lots of ships in this area. And if you take away the ships real quick, lots of minor factions. Look at this. You've got these guys here, the Romulans, the Remans, and the Vudar right here. All three highly concentrated little neck of the woods here. Oh, and just for S&Gs, you can see that everybody is indifferent, meaning that there's no loving or hating Carnivons or Boraks, respectively. All right. So, the full concentration of ships really are on this sort of this diagonal line. I'd say probably 30% up here and 30% up here and 70% of their ships in this little concentrated area right here. Wolfpack 5, Wolfpack 2, home fleet, and then of course, look at all these ships just kind of like coming in hard and fast. Carnivons are geared up for something, that is for sure. All right. If we slide over here, we have the Klingons. So if we look at the Klingons again, oh, look at all this stuff on home fleet. Look at that. Oh, yeah. Let's take a look at Klingon home fleet. Just for, it's not as exciting as I thought it would be. But it's a good 7 F4s, and they got one crippled there that they will repair. But you can see they're definitely building up something here to be able to do something with. What that something is, I will leave up to you. But you can see the vast focus of the Klingon fleet is the exploration expansion down to Lyran space, certainly this neutral zone right here, and going south. Why? Well, if they can get south here and sort of establish this border, they can either there's no indication that they would do this at this point as far as contest Lyran space, but they could go around the back end here if they were really sort of like pushing it. They could get around maybe have like a little bit of a stretch down the side, which would be interesting. 1 second. Oh yeah. Take a moment and enjoy the French horn that is my nose when I blow my nose. It's exciting. Okay, so we got the Klingons expanding south. We've talked about. Sorry, I feel like there's something on my face here. We've got the Lyrans. We've talked about the Borak. Now let's talk about the Kzinti. So what do we got here? Oh, so you can see they're really focusing on. It would seem anyway. They're focusing on expanding and exploring out to their west. They've got good defenses here. Commercial convoy going back and forth between the Federation and the Kzinti, which is nice. Looks like there is some... Oh, they're hateful. What's Prince Fleet doing? Kzinti, Prince Fleet. Oh, okay. So there's a diplomat there trying to be nice, but the Gorn really hate the Kzinti. Oh, ladies and gentlemen. Again, I would be more oomph, but Big Slow Target has fired a coffee our way. Quick cheers. Oh, that lemon on the throat is a stinger. That's a stinger. All right, thank you. Thank you, Big Slow Target, and Lost Muskrat for your coffee support today. Let's carry on. All right, so, I mean, I'm not usually this low energy. I mean, I like to get into it. I honestly just feel like crap today. I'm so sorry. Okay, so, let's see. There's a tug here with 10 EP on it. I'm curious what they're going to do. Maybe they're going to pay somebody off, perhaps. Oh, I don't know. Interesting. But nonetheless, you can see that there's a concentration of ships doing exploration. Oh, and by the way, if you're looking at this map, you're like, what are those little red stars in the corner? You'll notice on the map, sometimes you'll see those stars. Those stars are just a clear little indicator on the map that you've moved the unit. So the GM, when moving all these things around, just didn't clear the map of that little icon to indicate that you've moved that unit. So that's good. It's just a quick visual reference to know that you moved something. But it's good for us when we're looking at it because we can see all the stuff that moved. If we slide over to the Federation side, you can see here that a couple things. So one, little harassing battle cruiser in the backyard. Looks like there may be some fleets in the near vicinity, perhaps, maybe, kind of. 10th fleet, I have a feeling, is more of an exploration fleet. 10th. Yeah, there's nothing there. Task Force Rady. Can Task Force Rady do anything? Task Force Rady. Well, 2 light cruisers could definitely pull it off. So if they went up there, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, they could pop that guy, no problemo. So they can get up there and they can deal with this battle cruiser. What else we got? We got some more concentrated base building and exploration. You can see there's a base. Is it completely built? Yeah, so built up here. They're going to explore more to the north. These guys are exploring more to the east. And you can see down here on the southern border, they've established a contiguous border between them and the Paravians and into where the Hydrans are. Now, there's a little bit of a gap here. We'll see what that looks like with time, but generally speaking, that's going to look good as they go forward. So the big news to carry away here is that the Feds are doubling down on exploration and expansion, and and they're building up some bases up in the north, which I think is a good call, especially considering the Lyrans tend to have demonstrated nonetheless that they're a little bit more. They've got sharp elbows, shall we say? Oh, okay. Slide down into the Paravian space. Oh yeah. Excuse me. If we take away the ships real quick, you notice there's not a lot of a difference here. And that, I think, is just indicative of the lack of ships they have. Now, the Paravians have this cruiser tug, which is awesome. It's like a battle tug. It's same as the same stats as their cruiser. So it's pretty sweet little ship. So cruiser and tug are pretty much the same here. And as you can see, this one's building a base up here, and they are continuing to explore and expand out and beyond. The Hydrans obviously breaching the neutral zone as far as like being able to explore it. Not breaching, I suppose, just in it, and trying to make the most of the sort of advanced time that they have on station there. It looks like the Paravians will get there eventually, but the Remans are hateful or hostile to the Paravians, and they've got this little battle cruiser in the background. Of course, Eagle Fleet looks like it's there to deal with it. Let's take a quick look at Paravian Eagle Fleet. There we go. Eagle Fleet. So that's going to be more than enough. 3 cruisers and 8 frigates. Look at that. Bam. That's going to be more than enough to pound that guy into sand and then move on for sure. Beware this Paravian player. He is crafty. All right, we'll do this guy, the Hydrans, and then swing over to the other side for the Tholians and round us out. What do we got here? We've got, as you can see, continuing the exploration push. An unknown derelict in the corner. That'll be an interesting recovery effort. I'll be very curious to see what the Hydrans get from, grabbing that with the tug. That'll be very interesting. Other than that, you can see all these fleets we've looked at before. They're basically exploration fleets and survey fleets, so they're just pushing the barriers of known space out. You can see that up in the top here with the Hydrans building bases to facilitate further exploration. They'll probably go past this and up, and then of course taking care of their backyard at the same time. You can see, the Gorn are indifferent with you. That's a huge win. Hydran, Royal Fleet, Noble Fleets. Okay, so Royal Fleet is a frigate with a diplomat. So we have a diplomat trying to improve our attitude with the Gorn at this point, which is lovely. Good to see. Don't worry. The Hydrants will become their own OP faction a little bit later in this game. What else we got? On the Tholian side, look at these exciting guys. We've got fleets doing exploration on the edge and the periphery. We've got a crippled E1T that is making its way, I'm assuming, to this wormhole. We'll have to see where it goes. Or maybe it's making its way to the capital. We'll see. We have a Vudar faction right here that they are friendly with the Tholians. And we've got 1st Garrison and New Fleet. Let's take a quick look at 1st Garrison and New Fleet. Tholian Garrison. So this is a survey fleet with a little bit of backup. So a destroyer to escort and the 3 CPCs, which act like a tug. Oh, one sec. Yep. And then there's New Fleet. New Fleet is a cruiser, 7 destroyers and CPCs. Okay, so New Fleet is the fleet that's going to go out and be the hammer, it would look like, and is going to tap perhaps on this E1T or whatever else may be coming through this wormhole. Because remember, this wormhole is, as we scroll up, this wormhole right here. And the Klingons have, appropriately, Tholian Border Squadron there with a total of 8 F4s ready to reach out and touch someone. Of course, you've got a C4, which is a dreadnought, and then Home Fleet, which was the same number of F4s, just one crippled, ready to reach up and go through there if they need to. All right. Okay, so that's the and of course the Tholians have this cloud up here. I have no idea what this cloud is. It has not been engaged or encountered, so we have no way to know what exactly that cloud is. 1 second. All right, and that is the Tholians, my friends. All right, let's slide back into the chat and say goodbye. All right, so I see daddy duty with the daughters has sapped energy and likely brought forth the germ warfare, as all young'uns are germ factories. It's so true. This past week, the kids were on March break, and I was daddy on duty. And one of my youngest daughter had a little sniffle. Mom caught it earlier in the week. I caught it later in the week, and here we are. So that kind of blows. Yeah, thank you, Lost Muskrat, for the French horn. Very nice. Love it. Love it. Okay. So as I said before, this is the map you just saw there is turn 60, and we're currently processing 61. Now, hasn't come out yet. It might come out later this weekend. We'll see. Haven't heard exactly from the GM what the timeline is on that, but it's going to be very interesting to see turn over turn over these next couple turns, turn over turn, to see how the conflicts evolve. Who is the aggressor? Who is sort of reaching out and trying to touch, like a boxer, like who's doing the ranging with the jab? Who is playing defense? Is there something else happening on other fronts? Like we talked about, basically everybody on the bottom, Tholians, Paravians, and Hydrants, they're still in exploration mode. The Kazynti and the Feds had a brief little tussle, but they're back in exploration mode. Tholians, the ISC are sort of in exploration mode, but they're really just building out their infrastructure, building out their bases to try and provide a good front, shall we say, in defense of opposing forces. Although they're getting along great with their neighbors, the Carnivon and the Borak. The Klingons still in exploration mode, but they have such a strong military at this point, and such a large economy that they have no constraints at this point when it comes to building out their military and concurrently doing the exploration. So they have no constraints. The Carnivon, they're sort of like an interesting mix in between, because they've been predominantly doing exploration through using their cruisers. So they're a little bit behind the Klingons as far as exploration goes, and luck of the die as far as like how many of these explored hexes have resources and things. But the really interesting thing is what what position or attitude are the Carnarvon going to take as the conflict between the Lyrans and the Borak evolves? Will they do anything? Will they, as it's sort of, I mean, it could go either way. Either lots of those ships are being used to aggressively expand in the face of perhaps a resource allocation that the Boraks might have to face if they're not being successful in their conflict with the Lyrans, or is there something else? Are they preparing for an assault? And they have, keep in mind, there's 3 minor factions in that area, and I think everyone is sort of happily engaged in trade, but there may be the potential for one of those factions to go hostile. And if they do, I would say the Carnarvon are in a great position to be able to, shall we say, use a little gumbo diplomacy to bring them on side. So yeah, that's pretty much the story. Morning glory. So with that said, and I apologize that this is not the flashier, exciting live streams that we've done in the past. I'm sorry. But I want to make sure we got a live stream out this week, as we were unsuccessful with that last week. So thank you for your patience and your understanding with my lack of performance today. For everyone sliding into our Discord channel after this, I'll just be sort of watching. I won't necessarily participate. In fact, I might cut out early because there's a couch and or a bed that's calling my name. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So if you like all things Star Trek, if you like this 4X war game that we're playing and you're interested in learning more about it, then you can head over to our Coffee, which is that QR code or that link down in the corner. You can head over to our Coffee page and or Patreon, and you can, although Coffee's better, to be fair. And then you can use the Coffee and Discord link to be able to join our Discord there. And if you join our Discord, the benefits of that are, obviously, you get to see all the bitter banter that goes back and forth. The role play, we have channels where we have sort of playing out the role play perspective on these different campaigns, and if and when the next campaign either starts or we have players that maybe need replacing, you are first on deck to be able to get in there and get her done. So yeah, that's the exciting part of being part of our Discord and Coffee tier, and of course if you're just a big fan of, like I say, war games, turn-based, Star Trek strategy stuff, then we all talk about, from SFB to other kind of sci-fi games to, again, other ADB properties. We talk about all that kind of stuff because that's sort of like what we're all interested in. So with that said, thank you very much, everybody. I am going to stop talking now. I will see you in the Discord chat, and otherwise, I'll see you next week. Ciao for now.